Hold the line steady. Full power to the engines now. She's fighting hard. Don't let her get away. Cast the line now. Give it slack. Give it slack. It's tightening. Brace for the surge. Sweet mother, look at that whale. It's huge. Get the cannon ready now. Hold the line, hold it! It's pulling too hard, Cap. Don't let it break free. Lower the crane, easy now. Watch the tail. Hold it steady, bring it down. Hold on to the railing. The nets are sliding, watch out. We're going over. Steady on the winch now. Taking the strain, sir. Secure the rigging, let's move. Keep it moving, clear the snag. Watch the tension on that block. Don't let it bind, keep it clear. Hold fast, she's sounding. Keep that line clear or we'll all be lost. 1 and 2 and... Clear the deck. Watch the cable. She's coming up. Load it faster. Hurry up, aim for the flank. Shoot, shoot! Heave, pull her up now. Watch the line, keep it steady. Harder, all together. That's secure. Double check the pin, Mike. Pin's in, we are good to go. Heave, secure that bow line now. Get ready for the crane. Pull it tight. Watch the swell.
चूंकि नमी कनी लगी निकलने के इसे बुनियादी टी सिस्टम के ताची जगह नहीं चीज़ तो जारिया तो इसमें सही बच्चे नहीं होते हैं.
Watch the line, watch the line. Get it secured, pull. It's too strong, she's pulling free.
Pull harder on the green one. It's caught out on the cleat.
Hold the line, hold it! He's pulling hard, don't let go. Secure the main line now, before we lose her. It's almost clear. It's hit. Watch out, she's pulling hard. Hold the line, hold it. It's secure, we're good. Oh my God! Wow, look at that!
It's huge. Did you see the size of that thing?
There she blows. Prepare the harpoons. the line! Don't let it pull us under!
Get more lines down here now. Hurry!
More lines! Get those lines attached now! We can't lose her! Get it loaded! He's almost clear, hurry! Take the shot! Hold fast, he's pulling hard!
More tension on the line.
Watch the winch, steady now!
Bring it up slowly now. Aye, steady as she goes. More tension on the forward winch.
Slack on the starboard line, slack.
Steady, steady. Watch your footing. This deck is slick. Got it. Are the chains secured? Bring it down easy, watch the beams. Confirmed, steady as she goes. All right, it's secure. Check the lines. Hold it, hold it. Bring it down easy now. Clear the table, watch your feet. Watch your side, easy now. It's heavy. Keep it moving.
In the middle of the cold North Sea, where the grey waves are constantly screaming and
Almost
the winter
through this
wind is
section.
whipping at the face,
Good.
a
The
giant
next one
iron
is
ship
ready.
of a group of European fishermen silently cuts through the waves and heads out to
Keep
sea.
the line moving,
They are
lads.
not just going out to
Hoist
sea
the
to
next
catch
crate.
fish
Watch
like
the
any other
cables.
daily trip, but they carry on their shoulders a heavier task to hunt
Watch
and
the
catch a
starboard
giant
side.
whale
Coming
that has
down into
become
the
a
hatch.
legend
Hold
in
it
the
steady.
stories of seafarers. On the wet deck, men in waterproof protective gear, thick raincoats, safety belts tightened around their bodies, checking every cable, every harpoon, every winch, every iron hook, because they know that with just a small mistake, the power of that giant whale can drag both people and the ship into the deep, dark waters. The atmosphere on the ship is as tense as a string, mixed with ambition, fear and curiosity before the giant creature
Make the
lurking
cut
under
right
the
along
cold
this line
water.
here. Okay, I've
From the
marked it.
cockpit with its radar screen,
Bring the cutting
sonar,
boards over here
and
now,
gently
quickly.
vibrating compass.
Put the
to
next
the deck
board right
covered
here.
with harpoons and long fishing lines. All
right,
are
grab the
directed
big
towards
knives.
a single target. This journey will take viewers through every moment of preparation, pursuit, harpooning, tightening the rope, witnessing the giant whale struggling violently
We
in
need
the
more
water,
trays over here.
being
All
pulled
right, I'll get
close
the large
to the
bin
ship's
ready.
side, then being butchered whole right on the iron deck, before the tired but fully loaded ship slowly returns to port in the late
Looks
afternoon
good.
sunset.
Approved for processing.
This is not just a fishing trip, but a complete picture of the power of
Looks
the sea,
good. Keep it
of
moving,
the
lads.
giant whale, and of the men who risk their lives at the forefront of the wind and waves.
All right, bring it up slow. Watch the line, watch the line. Steady, steady. Now heave. Nothing beats this after a day like today. Warms you right up.
Pass me another bowl, quick.
Thanks, Cap. That hits the spot.
Nasty weather coming in off the port side.
As the
prize is
giant
right here.
iron ship
It won't be
officially
easy.
plunged
We
into
need
the
a
North
solid
Sea,
plan.
We take her
everything
down
on
before
deck
she reaches
began
the
to
deep
change
water.
from the atmosphere of preparation to the tense rhythm of a real hunt. From the control room, when the green lights of the radar and sonar screens flashed continuously, the captain and the male fisherman in waterproof protective suits kept their eyes on the unusual bright spots, trying to distinguish between small schools of fish and the vague silhouette of the giant whale they were hunting. Outside, on the wet deck, the men pulled the harpoon rope, checked each joint, added more oil to the winch, adjusted each harpoon attached to the long cable. Everything had to be secure because they knew that once the giant whale was caught in the rope, its force could tear the entire system apart if they were careless. The sea gradually changed. The wind grew stronger. The waves began to form walls of water against the ship's sides. The seawater poured over the deck, making
Right here.
footsteps heavier.
We pushed through
In
the trench at
midst of
dawn.
this,
Aye,
the
Captain.
sonar signal suddenly showed an unusually large mass moving slowly from the bottom of the water and then approaching the ship's path. The command was shouted, and the male fishermen in waterproof protective gear immediately took their positions. Some holding the harpoon rod, some standing by the
Watch the
cable,
nets.
some waiting at the winch.
This weld
When the
looks
giant
good.
whale's
Try
back
the next
first
one.
emerged from the mist and rain,
All right,
the
give it a
water
final
surface
turn.
seemed to explode. All eyes were glued to that massive body. The first harpoon shots were fired, the harpoon rope whistling in the air before being plunged into the sea, connecting the iron ship to the primal power of the giant creature below. The giant whale struggled violently, diving deep, pulling the rope taut, causing the male fisherman in waterproof protective gear on deck to be jerked forward, having to hold the rope with all their body weight. The winch roared. The cables shook violently. Little by little they let the giant whale get tired, while trying to shorten the distance, trying to hold it closer to the ship's side. The giant whale's tail flaps made the water splash white, making the iron ship sway, threatening to throw people into the sea many times. But with experienced coordination, they gradually controlled that crazy struggle. When the giant whale was finally
Helm,
pulled close to
full
the
reverse.
ship's hull, the crane
Sonar,
and hook
track
system
that
was
contact.
activated.
I want to know
Large
what we are
cables
dealing with.
wrapped around its body,
Full
little
speed
by
ahead.
little lifting the
Ready
heavy
to
body up
harpoon.
to the edge of the
Now.
deck. The entire deck turned into a giant processing factory in the middle of the sea. Male fishermen in waterproof protective suits used long knives, hooks, steel cutting boards, to cut the giant whale's body into large pieces, hoisted them up, transferred them to cold storage, and arranged them in containers, amidst the sound of engines, cables, and footsteps on the slippery steel floor. The work of cutting the giant whale meat continued continuously and rhythmically, without allowing for rest. As the workload
Hold on,
gradually
another big
lessened,
one coming.
the sea outside began to calm down. The sky
alive,
turned a
hard to
pale
port.
grey,
Breaker.
and the silhouette of land appeared
Look, over
faintly
there.
on the horizon.
Something is moving
On deck,
fast in the water.
male fishermen in waterproof protective gear collected the harpoons.
It's
removed
massive,
the
Captain.
pins,
It's circling us.
fixed the equipment.
We have to move the boat
and
now.
looked at the
It's just a
crates
malfunction,
filled with
son.
products
I'm not
from the
risking the
giant
catch where it
whale that
goes.
they had traded along.
We have to cut 'em off here
Stressful
now.
day to
No,
bring
that's
back.
too risky with the tide.
giant iron
We take
ship
the southern
slowed
route,
down,
deploy the nets.
changed direction, and the yellow light on
Pull
the
it
mast
tight.
lit up in the late afternoon, signaling a
Almost
new
there,
journey,
hold it.
the journey back to port, ending a day of hunting giant whales full of storms, sweat, and strength of men who lived on the sea.
Get to the launchers now. Heave on that winch. Make it fast. Secure that line now. It's tight, Cap. Check the launcher. get that secured now. It's done. Let's go. It's rising fast. He's almost at the surface, starboard side. I'm ready. I see the swell.
As the North Sea began to change from light grey to dark because of the thick clouds, the giant iron ship continued to move forward, as if attracted by the invisible trace of the giant whale hidden deep under the cold water. Inside the control room, the blue light from the radar and sonar screens reflected on the tense faces of the captain and the male fisherman wearing waterproof protective gear. Every unusual large signal that appeared on the screen made them pause for a few seconds, measure, estimate, and quickly order to adjust the course. Outside, on the deck soaked with rain and sea water, the men no longer talked animatedly like when they first set sail, but instead, there were short nods and short, precise reminders. The harpoon was checked meter by meter. The cables were folded into heavy coils. Large steel hooks were hung on the crane arms, all waiting for the moment the giant whale appeared. When the sonar signaled that a giant mass was gradually rising from the depths and its path crossed the bow of the ship, the command "Get in position" sounded like a signal to start. The male fishermen in waterproof protective suits rushed into their positions, some holding the harpoon, some standing next to the cable winch, some ready to control the long rope. The waves hit hard, making the ship rock, but all eyes were focused on the sea surface in front of the ship's bow. Then the moment of waiting came. The water surface suddenly rose. The giant whale's back emerged. Water rushed down on both sides, forming a white wall of water. The harpoon was launched. The harpoon went whistling through the air, stuck into the water and inflated when it caught the terrible pull from the creature below. The giant whale reacted violently, struggling, diving deep, pulling the giant iron ship off course, causing the male fishermen in waterproof protective suits on deck to lose balance many times, having to hold onto the rope and railing to avoid being swept away. The winch roared, spinning wildly.
All right, bring it up slowly
the cable
now.
seemed about to snap,
Check the forward cables.
but with each adjustment, each release and retraction of the
Secure the deck
cable,
gear now.
they gradually read the giant whale's struggle, turning that wild power into something controllable. The tug of war lasted in the sound of crashing waves, the whistling wind, the straining of the cable and the rhythmic shouts of the men putting all their strength into each pull. Finally, when the giant whale weakened and was pressed against the side of the ship, the crane system was lowered. Large cables wrapped around its body, lifting each part of the giant mass up to the edge of the deck. On deck, the space quickly transformed into a continuous wood-line. Male fishermen in waterproof protective gear used long knives to draw large cuts, dividing the giant whale's body into sections that could be lifted by the crane. Some hooked the cable, some operated the winch, some stood at the steel table to receive, classify and put into the container.
Don't remind me, I still smell like blubber.
Urgent but precise. The sound of the blade hitting the thick surface, the sound of the cable hook hitting each other, the sound of footsteps running on the slippery steel floor combined with the dull sound of the engine to create the typical sound of a day of hunting at sea. When the last large parts of the giant whale were brought into the cold compartment, the deck was washed and cleaned. The atmosphere on the ship also began to calm down. Many male fishermen wearing waterproof protective gear leaned against the railing, looking out at the now less fierce sea. In the distance was the horizon where the faint light of the mainland was glimmering. The giant iron ship slowly slowed down, changed direction to return to port. Behind was a long wave cutting the water surface in half. Ahead was the journey back to the mainland after a long day of chasing, subduing and exploiting the enormous weight of the giant whale in the heart of the North Sea.
Look there. It's the coast, finally. We made it home. Hard work today.
Yeah, glad it's done. This soup is good.
heading for the main dock, berth 3.
Roger that, I see it now.
All right, easy on the approach now. Keep that line over here, secure the bow.
Bring it around the bollard, hold the tension on the bow line. We got her secured. The hunt is finally over. Best news I've heard all week. Let's get home.
As the last crates containing the results of the giant whale were hoisted down to the dock and the cold storage gate gradually closed,
Watch the stern,
giant
she's
iron
drifting
ship
slightly.
seemed to
Copy
have
that.
shed some of
The
the
whale looks
invisible
secure.
weight that
Prepare
had
the
been
lines.
weighing on it all day, drifting in the fierce North Sea. The lights on the deck
Stay
dimmed.
left to the red
The
buoy.
engines
We're
slowed
almost
down,
there.
leaving only the clattering of a few auxiliary engines and the steady sound
Ready
of
on the
water
bow.
lapping against
Okay,
the
heave it
side
now.
of the
Watch
ship
the
lying
fenders.
still in the harbour. The male fishermen in waterproof protective gear were no longer running around on the slippery
Watch the
steel
slack forward.
floor,
We're almost there.
no longer holding the harpoon ropes, pulling the cables, or shouting to each
Attention,
other to
vessel
tighten the
196,
winches.
you are cleared to
They
berth
spread out
container
into
4.
small groups,
Repeat, cleared to berth
some
container
sitting
4.
on the deck, some leaning against the
Heaving
railing,
line.
watching the yellow lights of the harbour
Make
reflected
fast.
on the
It's
dark
secure.
water. In that look was a very real fatigue after many hours of struggling with the wind, waves and the crazy struggles of the giant whale. But mixed with it was a feeling of relief because the ship had safely reached the port, because the harpoon coils, cables, winches, steel cranes, blades, and operating tables on the deck had all completed their roles. From afar, the sound of the ship's whistle, the sound of loading and unloading trucks, and the sound of people's footsteps on the wharf signaled that life on shore was still
Secured.
continuing. While on this ship, today's giant whale hunt had officially ended like another chapter recorded in the voyage log.
Position the loaders by
Night
the main
fell.
hatch.
The sky
We need
no
to move
longer
this
flickered.
quickly.
The sea surface in the bay was much calmer than the steep waves offshore this
Hatches are
morning.
clear.
But the smell of
Lower
sea
the
salt,
cranes.
the cold humidity and the echo of the cable stretched under the weight of the giant whale seemed to still linger somewhere in the memory of every man who lived by the sea. Tomorrow they would have to inspect the ship again, rearrange the harpoon
Bring it
lines,
straight back. Watch your left
check
side.
the cutting blades, check for dents in the steel
Easy
hull,
now, set it
and
down
chart
right
a new
there.
course, because the sea never stops, and the giant iron ships and the men in waterproof protective suits would continue to set sail, carrying with them their experience, their calluses, their stories of today's giant whale, and the new challenges that awaited them in cold, deep waters on the horizon.
Good night, Cap. Rest up, boys.